All right, welcome to the Jupyter Lab developer meeting, and let's go ahead and give updates. Do you mind starting, Darian?
Sure. So in the past week or so, I finished up the work on my multiple Windows PR, and that's in emerged now. And because it adds some new concepts to the URL, I immediately follow that up with working on a PR that deals with making sure the tree URLs that lead to a specific path work well with workspaces, because workspaces also sit in the URL. So I wanted to make sure that that's rationalized. And the ability to clone workspaces has changed a little bit. Now you use a query string parameter called clone, and it can have a value, which is the workspace you want to clone, or it can just exist as a query string token without a value, and that means clone the default unnamed workspace, which is @/lab. And other than that, I've been doing a lot of PR reviews, especially ones. I think I got 2 in yesterday from first-time contributors, so we went from 136 to 138 contributors, which is nice. And so we want to do a beta 3 pre-release very soon, which if Jason joins us, he'll probably talk about. But I think we only have 2 PRs left that we decided were critical to that pre-release. So hopefully it's imminent this week that we'll do that. That's it for me.
When you say pre-release, are we talking data store stuff or what specifically?
No, I'm saying like beta 3, we're not confident in what's currently in master to just release beta 3. Instead, we want to release what's in master as beta 3, like pre-release, and have people play with it. And if it's solid, then we will release that as beta 3. Data store is not going to be coming until 1.0, I imagine.
Sure. All right.
Cool. And who's that just joined on the phone?
Hi, it's Jessica. Sorry, I'm having a technical difficulty, so I'm calling in.
Yeah, no problem. We couldn't see anything identifiable. Hi, Brian. You're here after all.
Yeah, I'm between meetings can stay for a few minutes.
Cool. So update on my end, we're gearing up for interns on Monday. We are going to have 3 teams. We're not 100% sure what they're going to work on, but one of them is almost certainly going to be working on the status bar. And so we'll be working on designing and then implementing the notion of a status bar like in VS Code, where various things that we don't have a place for will be visually represented on the screen. And I'm really excited about that because that's been a while coming, and it's a good opportunity to have design coming before technical work. And a couple other projects in the bag Brian and I will finalize this week. And we're also working on the sort of notion of redesigning the cell environment and figuring out what the heck we're going to do with that in terms of how will individual cells be interact with the bowl. I don't know if that's the best English for that. But that's what's in my world right now. Grant, you have any updates?
I got knee surgery last week, so I've been kind of out of commission for the past week. Getting back into it though. And I was looking through some of the PRs on Jupyter Lab. It looks like there's a couple Vega related ones that I can take a look at after this meeting. And I started reviewing Saul's PR for changing the running tab over to React, and so I'm gonna work with him on that, and then I'm going to revisit the UI package PR, the one that changes the toolbar over to React. So those don't need to go in before beta 3, but I think it's they've been sitting for a while, so it's just time to get them in there.
Grant, what is our consensus on Prettier? We kind of dropped the ball on it, and then I forgot to ask you at the meeting. What do you think?
The last discussion was that we were going to like merge it before beta 2, and it just didn't happen. So I'm good to merge it whenever we have some consensus. It shouldn't be too hard to get the current PR rebased and working with everything. But then, as soon as it's merged, we're just going to have a strategy for adapting all the other outstanding PRs to work with it. And I think all that will be required is to just simply run. Let's see. It's like, theoretically, you can just run Prettier and then everything should just match up. But you'd want to do that before you rebase, otherwise you'd have a lot of merge conflicts. So I guess next step would be to try it with some other outstanding PR and just see what the workflow is, document it, and then and then I guess we'd be ready to just merge it whenever.
For what it's worth, I think that we should do it. It doesn't seem that onerous, and it doesn't seem that like a bad time to do it, because I just had to go back to a first contributor and as nicely as I could ask them to reformat some white space, and it seemed like a silly thing. And this person, I think, was in India. Like, they were many, many time zones away from me, so it added an extra couple of days to them getting their PR in. No harm was done. In fact, it's great. We got a new contributor, but it would have been even nicer if that had happened by magic.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah, you did a great job in that interaction, Darian, but I totally agree. It completely removes those questions from the review.
Exactly. Okay, well then I'll work on that today as well.
I think we have a new participant. Is that you, Dirk?
I just joined. My name is Julian Dolby. I'm from IBM Thomas J. Watson Research Center.
Oh, cool.
And basically, I think Saul is on the call, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just exchanged email with him a little bit. So basically what we are working on at Watson is we've been working on some program analysis for machine learning code. And the main reason it might concern you guys is that the way we are surfacing that information to developers through IDEs is using the language server protocol, LSP. And I've seen you guys have multiple issues about supporting LSP. And basically, I wanted just to say we're interested, and I also wanted to say how can we help? What would be a productive thing to do in that direction?
That's a great question. Brian, you want to take that first?
Sure, yeah. Well, first of all, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining the call today. And we are definitely interested in integrating LSP. Some of that is bottlenecking on a separate issue, namely we have plans to migrate the text editor to Monaco, which is the text editor upon which Visual Studio Code is based. And it's my understanding that Monaco has built in much better support for things like that. If not, and I don't know if anyone else here knows if Monaco has direct support for LSP.
Well, I can tell you that Visual Studio Code certainly does. In fact, our tools all currently surface analysis information used in Visual Studio Code. And in fact, that's how we started, because that seemed to have the strongest support for LSP. So if Monaco is a similar code base, it surely ought to be relatively straightforward.
Yeah, I think it's all part of the same constellation of work.
Okay.
And we, on the Monaco front, we're interested in that. There's some refactoring that we're going to be doing over the coming months to sort of get ready for that. But we also currently don't have anyone with time allocation to work on that. And so, you know, if people on your team there have some cycles, like we may be able to have some conversations about coordinating and coming up with a strategy.
We might be able to, that might be possible. We were just talking to a guy in our lab who might be interested in that sort of stuff. He does UI design work and that sort of thing. So it might be integrating something like Monaco might be up his alley. I'll find out. And also the other thing it struck me was you guys, I don't know who is planning to be at JupyterCon, which is in August. So since JupyterCon is in New York and I'm in New York, it would be great to meet people. Jason even said something about a sprint day the next day. Is that something that's physically in New York as well?
Yeah, that'll be at the conference hotel. And I think essentially everyone in this call will be there.
So if there's interest on your side and there's definitely interest on my side too, if we could, I mean, if Jason suggested maybe we should organize an LSP themed kind of project or something on the sprint day, I'd love to be part of that. And I can probably get other people here to be interested too.
Yeah, that would be a fantastic place to sort of touch base in person. I think most of the Jupyter Lab team will be there. So
to what extent, beyond the sprint day, are you guys there for the rest of the conference too? Are you there for the tutorials? I know some of you are giving talks, I think, at the conference.
Yeah, I think most of us will be there for all of the days of the conferences and tutorials. So at least Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the sprints on Saturday. A number of us are coming even like on the previous Saturday and Sunday. So
okay, so my thought was for us, what might make most sense would be to attend the 2 days of conference proper rather than the tutorials, and then the sprint day as well. Does that seem like a reasonable plan?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely.
Great. And so I just posted something to your 2163 issue. Is that a good way to try and coordinate what we should think about doing, how we could help, and what might be a good thing to think about for JupyterCon?
Yeah, I think so. You also might want to contact some of us over email. Sometimes the folder in which we keep all of our GitHub notifications becomes really full.
Imagine.
So occasionally we miss things.
Sure.
And so I'm easy to find, Brian Granger on the internet. And
I'm also easy to find. If you type my name into Google, I believe I'm still the top hit. So.
Okay.
And I gather Saul, I think, when I exchanged email with Saul, I think he said he was going to be also at PLDI at the Maple workshop.
Yeah, I'm going to be there. I'm not presenting anything, but I wanted to go because I wanted to see some other groups that I've been talking to online. So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you there.
So
and seeing
I'm going to be there because I am presenting. We also have both a paper at Maple and a poster as well. So for any of you guys who want to find out a bit more about what we're doing in terms of analysis, that'd be a great place to come. And of course, I can give you links to the paper as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
Awesome.
Should I put like a link to the paper on the GitHub issue maybe? What would be the right way to give you a point?
Putting a link in the GitHub issue would be great. And
okay, I will do that.
If you have it handy right now, there's a chat in this tool we're using. Pasting it in right now would be helpful too, because I'd like to just open it up right now.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. I do have it. I'm enough of an academic that papers are pretty much what I dream about all the time. Let me just grab the.
I just pasted a link in the chat here. It's sort of an explanation of how you can integrate the language server protocol with the Monaco.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. So, no, wait, I'm trying to figure, if I chat, here we go. So now if I bring up I drag the PDF and I try to drop it into the chat. Is that likely to work? Let me see. Oof. Sorry, I have too many windows in too many places. Here we go. So if I take the paper.pdf, I can, come on. More. I'm going to save it. It doesn't seem to let me type. How can I paste into the chat? I'm going to drop a PDF file in there. Is there a way to do that?
I don't think Zoom supports file transfer. I think you just have to paste a link.
Yeah.
This is the paper will become publicly available when the conference starts. So just now there is not a link, I think, yet. It'll be in the ACM Digital Library, but I think that happens typically the weekend before the conference.
Okay, well, just in the GitHub issue, what was the issue? We can just link the issue right now.
2163, I believe.
What number was that again?
2163, I believe. Let me get
Okay,
this.
great.
Let me just, I should have that.
Yeah, that's it. I just opened it up and pasted it.
Okay, cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, that one. That's the one I'm using. There's another one. There are several others. There's also one, governance 41 or something like that. But that just links. It looks like this 2163 is what everybody is mostly using.
So I actually have to head out to another meeting right now, but nice to meet you. Let's definitely be in touch on GitHub, and I think gathering around these things at JupyterCon would be fantastic.
All right, excellent. So I will if we plan to do that, we can, I guess the JupyterCon, I've never been there before. It has a bunch of social events, I believe. So there'll be different ways to mix, and then we can maybe plan something on Saturday as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
All right, very good. And I will add a link. I'll add the PDF of the paper. I'll put that in the issue somehow so you guys can see it.
All right. I've got to run. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bye.
See you, Brian.
Bye-bye.
By the way, I'm Jason.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you in person.
I'm Julian. Yeah, okay.
We emailed, right? Yep.
Yes.
Sorry, I had a conflict.
Yes. Thank you. That was you responded very quickly, and also Saul. Both of you got back very quick, very enthusiastic. Made me feel like we could really do something here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Especially, I think the point is, lots of people have lots of things to do, and so if people want to push the project forward, like, we'll do what we can to facilitate it. So. And
it seemed like, but it seemed like it's not something that we would be pushing on you guys. It's something you want. And
yes, we definitely want
to help out, and we'll be happy if we help out too. If we can get our stuff surfaced in Jupyter, that would be very nice for us.
Do you maintain the front end code for the Atom and the Sublime, etc. as well, or are you just working on the back end?
So
stuff?
what I've done I work on program analysis, and we built an LSP server that is powered by our program analysis engine. And what I've done for the clients basically is whatever minimal configuration is needed to get their LSP clients talking to my server.
Okay. So the biggest thing
most clients, there's no code at all.
Right.
A couple of clients, there's like 10 lines, maybe less.
Right. I had understood LSP integration to involve a significant amount of code on the client side, on the browser side, that we don't have right now. But I haven't looked at it very carefully either.
So what we've done, Atom and Sublime and PyCharm and VS Code and Emacs and VI for those hardcore types.
Yeah.
All of those actually have someone has done the client side work.
Right. Okay.
And what we do is tie our server to it.
Yes. Okay.
Now I understand that with Jupyter there'd be a bunch of client side work too.
Right.
And that's definitely something that interests us.
Okay.
As a vehicle for exposing our analysis information. So
sure.
We're not experts in Jupyter. So doing it by ourselves
is hard.
Sure. Well, it'd be a lot easier with guidance, that's all.
Right. Yep.
So I think some sort of collaboration where I realize you guys have limited cycles.
Yeah.
That might be the most productive way forward.
I think so. Yeah. So let's say I don't honestly really even have an idea of the scope of work on the client side. Like, I'm not sure if that takes a week or a month. You know,
Well, if it's
example.
going, if you guys are planning to adopt Monaco, and Monaco has LSP support, it might
right.
be.
Then it may be easy. I totally agree. And we have that plugin for Monaco right now as a proof of concept.
So maybe one thing that would make sense, maybe our LSP related thing at Sprint Day should be pushing the Monaco thing forward on the grounds that that will solve this problem for us.
That might work. There's a big question that proof of concept raised about the feasibility of Monaco. Monaco is a pretty heavyweight editor, it seemed. So I think it's definitely feasible for text files. I don't know how feasible it is for notebook code cells where you have 100 code cells, you know, on the page, et cetera.
So one thing from our point of view is that our program analysis really is a traditional, really a whole program analysis is the way it's happiest. Right. So we will likely be able to provide much the best information in a more text file based thing. If all we have is one, if for cells, we'd probably want all the cells anyway.
Yeah. And it may be that we have Monaco for text files and CodeMirror, you know, the existing CodeMirror solution for notebooks. And maybe that's the best way to work things. Monaco certainly has some advantages for just large text files, especially if we don't have to implement any of the LSP support. Like, it concerns me a little bit how much work that would be to implement in CodeMirror. I just don't know.
But does CodeMirror have support for things like hovers and fixes and stuff?
Yeah, it has. I think it has a capability. It has support for auto completion. It has support for, you know, inserting HTML nodes. It has support. I think it has support for hovering tooltips and things like that.
Okay.
I think it has the base functionality to do it. We'd have to write the shim to provide the language service.
So maybe what we've aimed for in JupyterCon or something is something more focused on the lab, the text files,
using Monaco.
We're using Monaco, and then once we have that, we can look at what would it take to make that analogous for a notebook if it makes sense at all.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Excellent.
Sorry, guys, that just rehashed everything you just talked about.
No, thank you. I joined late. I'm afraid a previous meeting of mine ran over, of course. At IBM, that's an occupational hazard.
Julian, do you know people from IBM Research, specifically Michael Mueller?
I personally work at IBM Research.
Okay.
Wait, what did you say? Did you say Microsoft Research?
IBM Research. Michael Mueller is the gentleman's name.
What does he do?
He's a HCI guy. He's going to do some user research with us at. He's a researcher in UX. And he's going to be doing some user testing with us at JupyterCon.
Oh, great! No, I don't know him, but is he at Research in New York, in Yorktown Heights?
I believe so. All I know is that he's with IBM Research in their UX division, and I'd know him through Bonnie John.
Okay, so if we're all going to end up there, we should definitely touch base. I don't know him, and maybe he'll even be what sort of UX work. Maybe he'll even be interested in understanding whether the sort of program analysis we're building can help you guys.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he knows what he's going to be testing yet. So maybe touch bases with him and see if you can. I just know he was interested because we had a slot open, and Bonnie knows and trusts him, and so I was curious if you guys.
Okay, do you have his email address?
Yeah. I'll let me get you plugged in with him.
Drop it in the chat or send it to me by email or something.
Yep.
Just so you know, a reminder that this is recorded. So.
Yeah. Thanks for the heads up. Sweet. So does anybody else have any updates while we're here?
Beta 3.
Yes, Jason. That's why we wanted you here, and because we love you.
Yeah. Thanks. So I see 2 PRs as sort of the critical ones to get in for beta 3 pre-release so that people can start trying to port extensions over, because there's a lot of backwards and compatible changes to beta 3. 1 PR is done. I'm just waiting to merge it until right before the release. and that's moving a bunch of the Jupyter launcher. Paul Ivanov did this PR where he moved a lot of the stuff that was in the Jupyter package to Jupyter launcher, and then took it out of the Jupyter package. So basically, we're depending on a new version of Jupyter launcher that we released yesterday or the day before yesterday. And then one other PR that's changing the services API quite a bit. There was a lot of subtle race conditions that could happen because we weren't guaranteeing that messages would be processed asynchronously in order. And so I'm going through the API and trying to basically change everything in the kernel message processing pipeline to make sure that all message processing is guaranteed to happen in order and can happen asynchronously. So any message handling code can return a promise that will pause message handling until that promise is fulfilled. I hope to finish that services packages work today, and hopefully get it reviewed today or tomorrow and release. And then I'll work on a pre-release for Jupyter Lab. Is there anything else that people think should be in the pre-release for the next beta?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, and then people can see Darian's great work with all the workspaces and everything. So, okay, and then once we get the pre-release out, I think then it's just a matter of helping people port extensions and you know, there's a lot of PRs that we have open right now. We can review and get them in for a beta 3 final release.
Wait, is Grant off the call? Yeah, so we asked him about, oh, he is. Okay, cool. So yeah, we were talking about Prettier. When's a good time to do the least disruptive thing? Because every passing day will probably mean more contributors, so it won't get easier.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it now, basically.
I was thinking, you mean for beta 3?
Yeah.
Or like maybe right after beta 3, just get a bunch of PRs in. Oh, I guess we just get a bunch of PRs in and then run it.
Why don't we get all the PRs in for the pre-release, then put the Prettier thing in as well, and then going forward, because we have the pre-release out, it takes some pressure off, so that whoever needs to rebase can rebase.
Do you think like a little bit more of a sledgehammer would be using TS format? I don't know if they're complementary or if TS format subsumes Prettier, but you know, that would give us more semantic analysis rather than just line length analysis.
I don't know enough to comment on this. Maybe
Grant, did you look at TS format? Okay. I was curious if we're going to go the route of automated code formatting, should we go all the way with something like TS format, which I think does quite a bit more code formatting than Prettier does. My understanding, Prettier basically just does line length modifications, right?
I mean, the big thing is it doesn't modify the AST.
Right.
So, yeah, so it doesn't significantly change your code. It just will do certain wrapping and things like that.
Okay. So I'm curious if we should go even farther with TS format, and maybe Prettier is the step towards that or something like that. But anyway,
is TS format a Microsoft tool or is it just called?
I think it is a Microsoft tool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now.
TSFNT.
Oh, okay, like Go format, I see.
Yes, what?
Yeah, it's like Go format. I mean,
I don't see any. Could you post a link to it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I think it's linked to the TS lent, maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't investigated it.
Okay. It's actually made by someone else. VVAKN. It's called TypeScript-formatter in GitHub, but the command line tool is called TSFMT.
Got it.
And it's not like part of Microsoft's TypeScript.
Right, but there is a tsformat.json in the VS Code.
So they're using it as well.
So VS Code has a format option, if I remember right, that will format your TypeScript for it. So it seems right that VS Code might be using it.
Okay, cool.
anyway, I think it's at least it's in the repo, so it may be that the VS Code base is using it.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
sounds plausible.
But I think there's also a formatting option in TypeScript, in VS Code, to format your TypeScript, like in an editor window. So anyway, I don't know, maybe this does a better job than Prettier, or at least does a more invasive job than Prettier. Maybe we don't want a more invasive job.
I mean, honestly, you know, yeah, any one of these tools, as long as they're competent, is going to be sufficient. We just want to not have humans making these decisions. That's all. Like, I don't care which piece of software makes that decision, as long as it's not the one between my ears.
But if I remember it right, Grant, there is a way for us to override the Prettier decisions. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
it
seems like programs do a great job for like 80, 90, 95% of the time. But there'll be some cases where we'll be like, that just makes it terrible to read.
Oh yeah, sure. We also disable TS-lint in a bunch of spots. Yeah.
Right.
There's one, it looks like TS format has settings to modify, whereas I think Prettier is more, we don't let you change things. So that's one difference between them. Looks like.
Yeah, Prettier has some really basic configuration, like, you know, single quotes or double quotes, wrap width and things like that.
Yeah, it looks like TS format has a bunch of things for like inserting spaces. The indent, etc.
Yeah, I mean, Prettier has that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But as soon as you get to insert space after comma delimiter, that's, you know, it's not that specific.
Okay.
So
it was a thought that maybe TS format is a bigger hammer and satisfies us even better if we're going this way.
Yeah. So I'll take a look at this today because I'm planning on making some progress on the Prettier stuff.
Right.
It's just getting it ready to merge. So I'll try this out and see how it works.
Okay. Fantastic. And I'll ping you guys for reviewing the kernel message spec PR, or kernel message handling PR. Did Mary Beth meet everyone?
Oh, yeah, I said hi before.
Okay.
Hello.
Did you want to show anything off, Mary Beth, or just join us and say hi?
My stuff is so broken at the moment.
Okay.
maybe next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mary Beth, can you link your extension if it's available for us to install in lab, or if it's not the case that you want to do that yet, that's cool. But if it is, I'd like to see it.
It should be ready to, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So it's got this very complicated model in the back end to do some like program analysis kinds of stuff. So that's a holdup, but should hopefully be ready to do some basic stuff by the end of the week.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, no rush. I just was wondering if you had something that you wanted us to look at. That's all.
No, it's at the second, but it will be cool eventually.
Awesome. I know the feeling.
That's it for me.
Saul, did you have something you wanted to talk about?
I just have a quick announcement. So Simon Biggs was someone who contributed a little bit, and he worked on an Angular extension for JupyterLab, or getting his extension that uses Angular to work in JupyterLab. And so him and I are talking tomorrow, just trying to get a sense of, I guess for me, trying to learn about the build processes in JupyterLab, like all the different folders things can end up in and why they end up there, and both inside the JupyterLab folder and in your system. and then kind of like looking through some user stories around people who want to make extensions. How do you make that easier? Like both, can you make an extension in Jupyter Lab kind of thing? And also like maybe what are some things that come up with the build process that are confusing, and, you know, both learning about those and then seeing, okay, so is there a way we could make this simpler? So it's pretty exploratory at the moment, but I just made a Google Doc to try to consolidate some issues from the repo around this stuff and start coming up with some like user stories, I guess. Yeah. But I'm not a HCI person, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Just kind of winging it.
Yeah, I can reach out to me, Saul. I can work with you on some of that stuff.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Cool. Anyone else?
Anybody else? Yeah.
Not for me.
All right, great.
Nice.
All right. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I'm gonna kill the meeting here.
Okay, just want to say